Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. Happy Halloween here from the NBA Coast to Coast pod, brought to you by The Lines. Nate is clearly a drunken referee, as the refereeing to start this season has been somewhat questionable. I am a Knicks fan who is losing his hair, similar to Trae Young, who lives and resides in all of Knicks fans' heads. We are going to be talking about a pretty fun Monday night slate with these NBA player props that we have for you in our favorite video each and every weekday of this NBA regular season. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. You can continue to follow along with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have all of our great written content for you guys all season long, and our odds finder tool, so you can make sure that you are shopping those NBA lines and player props to the best of your ability all season long. Nate, let's jump into these player props that we are staying red hot with on this Monday night slate in the NBA.
I'm going to target that Kings-Hornets game. Definitely speaks to a shootout. And the total somehow dropped to 231.5, was up at 233. So I would look at that over there. And I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox to continue to lead the Kings offense. Domantas Sabonis has not really been the 1B option right now. It is Fox controlling things and having a career year. He's shooting 55% from the floor, first of all, on a 32% usage rate. It makes him one of the three most efficient guys in the league thus far, and averaging 28 points off that, getting 7.2 rebounds, which is by far the best of his career. And then, of course, he's diming people up at 5.5 assists. I like the rebounds to go along with his points here, 30.5, because like I said, 7 boards. You can get him at 24 points if he gets his average boards against a Charlotte team that plays with plenty of pace per usual. The Kings are playing at the third fastest pace. Charlotte's allowing a league high 58 points in the paint. They're number one in 3-point percentage, interestingly, but Fox is a slasher. He's not going to shoot that many threes, and they're 23rd in 2-point percentage allowed. Their defensive rating is worse at home. Charlotte allows the 6th most points and 7th most rebounds to point guards, true to that kind of fast pace, and still no LaMelo Ball. So Fox should, have his way in that individual matchup against Terry Rozier. I guess he'll start on.
Yeah, I think Terry missed a game or two here and there. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is playing really well, but that also means you're not getting any defense at that point guard position for sure. That man is a turnstile, despite being super athletic and looking really good on offense for them so far this year when he's had to play some big minutes. But yeah, that defense, and it's Charlotte at home, man. I'm going 240 totals all day, every day with Charlotte at home as they don't play any defense there, and they just run and they're fun to watch at the very least. Funner than I thought they might be without LaMelo to start the season, not Lonzo. But either way, yeah, Fox 25.5 points. He's continuing to cruise. The second best offensive player in this team is Keegan Murray right now, followed probably by Kevin Huerter, as Domantas is still down below 15 points a game, doing other things, getting boards. But yeah, I really love the Fox bet, and I like a lot of bets in this, and a lot of overs in this Charlotte and Kings game. So I'm gonna move on to another game that we talked about in the game video there, the Pacers and Nets. Also liked probably an over there, as 240 points is about what they score, the floor of what those two teams score against each other. Haliburton is the best player on Indiana, as we well know. 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists is his prop. Gets about -111 on FanDuel. You can also take 2.5 3-pointers made for him, as the Pacers shot 50% from three last game, playing against Brooklyn, who gives up 44% to their opponents from beyond the arc. 26, 6, and 8 was his total last time against Brooklyn. 6 of 10 from 3. I mean, if he's going to take 10 threes and you're going to get plus money on 2.5 3-pointers made over that, like, love that, right? You can continue to expect the possessions to be, high this game. In his last 4 versus the Nets, obviously one of those on the Kings, 20 points a game, 4 boards, about 10 assists. That's all in 38 minutes. So when he's getting the time out there, he's crushing those Nets, who just they don't defend at the point guard spot. They don't really defend at any spot. He's made over almost 3.5 threes a game at 43% against those Nets as well in that last 4. So I mean, look, he's already come on. They're going to have to sit Haliburton if they plan on tanking, because in his last 5, 22 a game, 10 assists, averaging again about 3.5 threes on 50%. Like the man is definitely who we thought he was and who the Pacers thought he was when they traded for him. So against one of the worst defensive teams in the league, 35 PRA for the man feels really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers as a team are just going to have their way here, and Haliburton's going to be the trigger man. So I think that's an easy call here for him to just rack up stats. And for them to be serious about sweeping this team, they should play him 38 plus minutes, sweeping them in this home and home set. Of course, I'm referring to. I'm going to go under on Trae Young, although I am kind of terrified by his recent game log. It's very impressive. Just had a 44% usage rate against Milwaukee, the number one defense in the league. But I think Toronto is a team that can give him trouble with their length, and they have. He shot 45% or worse in 5 of his last 6 against Toronto. And he's averaging what his prop is in those games, 28.5. But that's skewed by a 41-point outlier where he was a plus 37. The Hawks won by 27 at home. And we talked all last year about the Hawks home road splits, and Trae was part of that. I mean, at home, averaged 30 points, shot 48% from the floor, 41% from deep. Out on the road, 26.5, shot 35% from deep. Toronto this year, I mean, with all that length, they can throw guys at point guards, give them trouble. They're allowing the fewest field goal attempts overall, first of all. They're playing at a pace of 94.5. They're 4-2 to the under. They're allowing the third fewest points in the second half. So obviously great team defense from Nick Nurse and the club, but the third fewest points per game to point guards, just 17 points per game. So Trae is a matchup problem for anybody. He is a guy who can light it up, but I think Toronto is positioned to do a decent job on him, and the Hawks might use a little bit more DeJounte Murray if they have to, if the Raptors are, throwing OG on Trae or Fred VanVleet or some combination of that, and then see if DeJounte Murray can step up, whereas Trae's just been, lighting it up the last 3 games while DeJounte gets acclimated to this offense.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, an under terrifies me for Trae, but this would be one of the teams that you feel good about doing that with, and you definitely want to get him, preferably, I guess, at home, which is kind of weird. But either, for Trae, I mean, he just loves to be the villain, man. So yeah, it's a little scarier to take him on the road. But either way, yeah, 28.5. It's still very, very high, man. He has gone under that, in 3 of these games this season, mostly to start the season as he's been swelling against Detroit. And then it's that Milwaukee against the best defense in the league that you kind of get a little bit nervous about. But look, I think he also tries to bring it against Drew Holiday, who is known as probably the best defensive point guard in the league. He plays in those big games, and this is a big game, but it ain't Milwaukee, at this point in the season. So I'm going to finish things off here with, I don't know, low hanging fruit. Ben Simmons under 9.5 points. Minus 125 at DK. Now for him to get 10 points is even money if you go over that, over 9.5. So I'm going under. He's going to have to show me he can score 10 points. It's not just the fact that he hasn't scored 10 points this season, because as you mentioned, we had to sweat out his 9 points. If you took an under on his 9.5 point prop in the last game against the Pacers, you sweated that out as he got 9 of them, but he got 5 free throw attempts in that game, by far the most of the season. That's a third of the free throws that he's shot this season. He's 6 for 15 on the season from the free throw line. He shot 5 in the last game. He's averaging about 2 free throw attempts a game, making sometimes one of them at 40% on the season. He's got 34 field goal attempts through 6 games. That's 5.5 field goal attempts a game. If he's going to get 10 points, he basically has to make every shot he takes, or he's going to need to throw some free throws in there, except for 3 games this season. He hasn't even attempted a free throw, which is absurd for someone who's 6'10". Not going to harp on it. But the one position that Indiana does limit more than any other is power forward. I mean, he's not a traditional power forward, but that's definitely where he starts and where he is on the floor on offense after he gets, they like to have him bring the ball up and then pass it to KD and run around. And it's like, why is he even bringing the ball up? Are you just trying to make him feel involved? That's fine. The point is when he does get into the offensive set and he is playing more of a 4 pick and roll type of play sort of position, that's the 4, and that's where Indiana guards, what the position they guard better than any other, limiting power forwards basically in the top 10, limiting power forwards in pretty much points, rebounds, assists, everything crucial here. So like I said, man, like maybe he'll get 10 points tonight, but like the odds of him doing that with all of the ways that he's playing and the lack of shots that he's even putting up, why would I not feel great about under 10 points?
I mean, everyone's taken a victory lap for having bet this successfully the first 5 or so games Mr. Simmons has played. I don't think it's going to last. I mean, I think he's going to round a corner in terms of his mental confidence, and there has to be a lot of discussion behind closed doors about Ben, shoot the ball, attack the rim in transition, Ben. And this is a game that we expect to be up and down, that we expect to be played in transition. I'm more intrigued by the plus odds on 10 points. And it's eight and a half at FanDuel. Like, I'm not taking an under on 8.5 points for guys playing 37 minutes. If you are nervous about the scoring, rebounds and assists at 15.5. He just had 17 in this matchup. I mean, say what you will about his mental health at this point, but he's a 6'10", like, freak athlete playing in an up-tempo system in a matchup between two of the worst defenses in the league. So I'm going to go on record saying Ben Simmons turns a mini corner here and does not put up the single triple, gets double-digit something, and perhaps it's the points. But I wouldn't continue to try to print money on his under.
That would be a hilarious bet. Double digit something, please. Just a double digit something. What are those odds at for Ben Simmons? We'll find out if he can get the 10 tonight. Maybe we put a little 6-pack on Ben Simmons' ability to get double digit points here. It's Halloween, man. Weird shit can happen. Maybe it's something he does put up the more than 5 shots in this game. We'll see. Either way, a lot of fun tonight with these player props. A pretty good slate here tonight, Nate. I think there's some games that we're going to enjoy watching. Definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Make sure you're getting these player props from us each and every weekday of this regular season. And until we see you next, happy betting.